Hi, I'm Kendall, and so today I'm going to be giving my presentation. So, I think there's a lot of discrimination in the world that we live in today, and a lot of the time we are oblivious to the things that are happening around us. So, the topic I want to focus on today is how American popular music has misappropriated American Indian culture. But first, let's just discuss why this is even a problem and where this topic is even coming from. So, racial antipathies, or what we know as stereotypes, are a problem that Native Americans have been facing since the first time moving films were even coming alive. So I think that these stereotypes are something we were taught at a very young age because some of the first songs that we heard as children were giving us the wrong image of Indians, whether we realized it or not. Because of kids, we don't really think about this kind of thing. So I think I can speak for most of us, or at least for the students from Oklahoma, that we've all been involved in participating in school programs that involved being around a term known as singing red face. So this term may sound silly, but this term is something that I feel like we should all be aware of. So what exactly is singing red face? So this is a term that refers to a non-Native American that plays the role of a Native American through song. So this is why I use the example in this of a Thanksgiving program. So I think this is probably the most popular example that I'm talking about when I say we were probably all involved in this as children. So another example that we were probably all exposed to at a young age was the song 10 Little Indians. Because I know when I hear this song and the name of the song, I can still remember the words and the beat that goes along with it in my head. So this is a song that we started hearing when we were probably literally in nursery school and can't even remember those days. But we also heard the song in probably kindergarten, first grade when we were learning how to even count. It's even used for educational purposes, not meaning anything, but now that we are actually learning that these are not the most appropriate ways to be using this kind of things. So I think even today this song is probably still being taught to children. So it's sad to think that when we were kids, we were actually taunting and making fun of someone else's culture and we weren't even realizing what we were doing. So even as adults, though, there's this idea of playing Indian, or in other words, dressing up like Indians. This is a problem that we still continue to see today and take part of. So Halloween's a super popular holiday, especially in college towns like Norman. And out of all the college students that dress up on the night of Halloween, I bet at least 15 or 20% of the costumes are normally kids dressing up in what they think is an Indian costume, but in reality, that's not really how the Indians dressed. So, other examples of this is history plays, performing arts, music videos, even mascots for football teams. These are all examples of what we would see in the term playing Indian. So, I feel like even as adults, as a lot of them are still unaware of the fact that Indians didn't actually dress like that, we should have more of an idea that maybe this isn't the best idea. Maybe this is actually hurting someone's feelings. So I think a term used to describe this situation would be cultural confusion. Cultural confusion means that non-natives are just simply not educated in the fact that all these stereotypes aren't actually true. So maybe they have an idea, but they're not 100% sure these are actually harming people or these are actually offensive to some people. Some people really believe that the Native American image that they are taught at such a young age is really how all Native Americans are. And from all of this so far, I think it's safe to say that American popular media is responsible for another term that is known as cultural misappropriation. So what this term means is that over the years, all of these racial stereotypes that I've been explaining, they eventually led to this image of an ideal Indian, but that ideal Indian image never really existed. We think that all Native Americans are like the ones that we've seen on movies or books or the songs that we sang as children. But in reality, most of the cases, they were nothing like that ideal Indian. So now that we understand these terms and what the problem even is and how this even got started, we can discuss the actual question. So how has American popular music misappropriated American Indian culture? Just like all the stereotypes I mentioned above, these stereotypes are actually within the lyrics of a lot of popular songs that we all may know. So I'm a big country fan. I'm sure a lot of people are being from here. So the main song today that I'm going to focus on is Indian Outlaw by Tim McGraw. So in this song, Tim McGraw takes on this persona of being half Cherokee, half Choctaw, which we all probably know that Tim McGraw is not Native American. And although in the music video, Tim McGraw never actually dresses up like an Indian, he still plays the part. So anyone that's familiar with this song usually knows all the lyrics to the chorus because the chorus rhymes and has like such this catchy beat. So as bad as it seems, most of us probably sung this song growing up and didn't realize what the lyrics were actually saying. So the chorus is stating that he's part Indian, his girlfriend is Indian, his nickname is Bear Claw, his chief is his pawpaw, he plays on his tom-tom, he smokes a peace pipe, kills deer and buffalo, and has a hickory bow. So all of these are stereotypes that we were probably singing our entire life growing up and never realized how wrong and how hurtful these actually were. So just a few examples. Using bear claw, that's making fun of the idea that Indians follow a clan system that is used in defining an identity of the Native Americans. So this is a part of their culture that's super important to some of the tribes, and the fact that we were making fun of it is pretty sad. But another term is making music on his tom-tom. So this is a lyric that shows that the composers in Tim McGraw did not perform actual research on Native American culture, or they would know that the tom-tom is not actually a Native American drum, but it's solely a label that is given by non-natives that is placed on Native American drums. So for me, I think the biggest stereotype in this song that most people still believe today is the use of bow and arrows rather than a gun, and the fact that Native Americans live strictly off deer and buffalo. So this is a stereotype that I think that most people still believe today and think that that's how they lived their entire lives and could still be living their lives now, which is just completely not true. So I think Tim McGraw is one of many country singers, and Indian Outlaw is one of many songs that misappropriate American Indian culture. There is a list of songs, and that's just one of many. But so these racial stereotypes are an issue, I think, that started as far back as 1843 with the term known as blackface minstrel shows. So these shows are similar to the term that we went over earlier about the red face. But in this case, the white people would put on a black face and they would imitate African American slaves. So for me, I think that racial issues will always be a problem because of just strictly ignorance and lack of education that some people have. That just as easy as songs such as Indian Outlaw gave this negative image, I think that through other music, this image can become better. This image can become more of a positive thing. So we've been learning lately that Native American artists are now bringing awareness to this issue and these racial issues by expressing their idea of their side of it through music. So I believe that one day this music will really make a difference for Native Americans and that the stereotypes will slowly start to fade. So the last term I want to go over in the presentation is idealized sympathy. So this term refers to people having sympathy towards an image or idea that is not real. So like in this case, say that Native Americans do bring about awareness. We need to make sure that when this awareness is brought about, that we truly believe, like we truly feel sorry for their actual stories of the Native Americans. We don't feel sorry for this like fake image. So what this term means is it refers to people having sympathy towards an image or idea that is not real. So as these stereotypes do begin to fade, I feel like the education in a Native American history and culture needs to be increased. It needs to also be taught more, and people need to become more aware of like just the history and the culture itself. I think it's important to truly understand all of these issues that Native Americans, and not only Native Americans, but every race faces today. And I feel like we need to be giving sympathy for all the right reasons. And I feel like through music and bringing all this awareness and social media and everything, like I feel like this problem will eventually become better, and I really hope it does. Thank you.